So if we look at our stages of perception, just to remind you that for many autistic children and some adults, they stay at one of the stages much, much longer. For example, whether they look at this or touch it, it is the first one, sensation, how they feel, and the stimulus they see. The next stage is interpretation. But before they can interpret, they have to process what they look at or what they touch and so on. But as a consequence of fragmented perception, we talked about it last time, when no brain is capable of processing all the stimuli simultaneously, and they start by bit by bit by bit, sort of fragmented world, if you like. It takes them much longer to put everything together, to understand what they are looking at, what they are listening to, and so on and so forth. We've got a delayed response to sensory stimuli, to interactions, and so on and so forth. Yes, some can respond immediately, but it comes from memory. It is like automatic response. It something they don't mean to say, but just to respond to something. For some people, it takes a few seconds to put everything together and then respond. For some, it takes minutes. For some, it takes hours and even days. It's it is real. You know, when we say something to our child or our student, whether they respond or not, the information will be there. And perhaps you know the cases, I know a lot, when a child can say something absolutely disconnected from the situation he is in. And for outsiders, they don't understand what is going on. The child doesn't understand anything. But if you know this child, like I know my son, sometimes he says, "Oh, but I asked him about it a week ago." And see, you have to be a detective. Sometimes this response comes much, much later, but their memory is perfect. I can tell you this, and we will talk about their memory eventually. So that is why we have to remember and give them more time to process your question or instruction, because I met teachers and they asked me about it. You know, when a teacher wants to help the child, she or he asks the child a question, and the child starts processing this question. Yes, with perhaps with a blank look on his face, right? But he is working, he is processing the question. But the teacher wants to help. We always want to help, don't we? And the teacher repeats the question louder, but for the child, it is a new question. He hasn't finished with the first one. This is different, you know, any tiny change destroys gestalt and, you know, gives a new uh, task to do. The child starts processing this question, but the teacher wants to help even more and rephrases the question or showing some visuals or whatever to help the child, but actually confusing the child completely. So please remember about it and give them time to process and respond. And don't be fooled by their looks. Some, yes, will, there's blank look on the face and whatever. No, they are processing the situation, whatever you ask, and so on and so forth. A child can be delayed on every sensory channel, sensory modality. For some, it will be visual when they do not react visually at visual stimuli immediately, or auditory or tactile. You know, or we know, especially toddlers, they seem not to feel pain. For example, a toddler tripped over and mother, but the child is fine. And then in a few minutes, only in a few minutes, he starts crying because it takes time to process that it is painful. So auditory, as I said already, sort of their response can be delayed. Remember that immediate response, it is automatic based on their memory, or it is echolalia to show, yes, I heard you, I can respond to you without understanding. And the same goes about delayed smell processing and delayed movement processing. That's why, see, they have a lot of proprioception problems. Some of them are caused by delayed, and they have to watch their feet to know that they are moving, and so on and so forth. So be patient. The main thing, to give them time to process what is happening. Because even if you repeat the same, it seems, oh, he knows this. We learn about something. But every time you ask something, it's a new situation. It is new tone, new intonation. For the child, it is absolutely new situation. That is why it seems, oh, he knows how to do it. Yes, but still, if there is a tiny change, he will start from scratch again.